Good afternoon. I'm Rick Miller with Inman Farm Heritage Days. I'm here today to show you a couple of my favorite type of tractors. It's called a Doodlebug or a Hoover tractor. They were made during the Depression. Um, that's the name Hoover from President Hoover, Herbert Hoover. But basically, farmers back in the day would take just stuff they had around the farm and cobble it together and make themselves a tractor. This one right here, we got from a friend, Mel Deering, from over in Alabama. And he'd taken this thing to shows all over the Southeast, down in Florida. But he got unable to travel, and he called us and made a deal, and we acquired it, and we're proud to display it here at Inman Farm Heritage Days. It's got a early model, like brass era radiator. I think the motor's around a 26, and the cowl around a 26 Model T Ford. The rear end is actually out of a Model TT, which is the bigger farm truck, heavy-duty truck version of the Model T. And it's got a church pew for the seat there, and several other cobbled up things. It's also got a 3-speed transmission in it between the Model T transmission and the rear end, and it gives you more options. It actually makes it, instead of a 2-speed transmission, it makes a 6-speed out of it. And I'd rather it had something else, because it seems like the other gears you pick up make it go even faster. And if you've ever ridden one of these things, you don't want to ride much faster than regular speed in the Model T. But it's got a high compression cylinder head on it, but it's a neat little piece. It's a good little show piece, and we'll try to take it for a ride here in a minute and show you what it'll do. When you're driving, your left foot works the transmission. It's in high gear now. This is kind of the happy spot, neutral. If you want to back up, you push the middle pedal. That makes it back up while you're holding the one in neutral here. And the right one is the brake, which is like opposite of a modern car. So you start off by just holding tension on the left pedal. Get your little running start. This one doesn't shift as smooth as most Model T cars, that's so light. You just ease it back into high, so you can let your foot off and drive. Your throttle is on the column here. Idle is up high, and faster is down low. And the left side adjusts the timing. And if you heard me earlier, it's got 2 positions for ignition. It's got battery. When you first start off, you turn this to battery to crank it. Once you get it running, you switch it over to mag, and there are magnets on the flywheel that fire the ignition of the car. And it actually is like getting an extra little boost of horsepower, because the mag puts out more electricity than the battery does. And it all goes through the buzz box coils. I mean, you maybe heard them buzzing. There's 4 of them, 1 per cylinder. You always hear about buzz boxes or Model T coils, but that's what powers the spark to the spark plug. This is a 3-speed transmission. It's in first gear now, so you can imagine how fast it'd be going if we were in third. First is plenty fast. I guess somebody built this to ride on the road because it'll probably get up 40 or 45 miles an hour in third gear, but I wouldn't want to be riding on it at that speed. You can also tune the carburetor while you're riding. Twist this lever to the right, cuts the gas back, open it back up to the left will make it richer. A lot of times when I first start, I like it a little bit rich, and then turn it back, kind of lean it out once you get going. Just sort of listen by ear. When you get ready to stop, put this in neutral. And this handbrake locks the back brake when you're sitting still. And it also locks the transmission in neutral. So if when you're ready to start back off, you just push it back down. Get a little running start and ease it back up to high. It's almost like an automatic transmission, which did come along for years after this. I'm going to show you why they call them buzz boxes or models, but listen to them when it comes time for the cylinder to fire. I'm going to bump it over a little bit with a hand crank so you can see. This is one of my favorite Doodlebugs or homemade tractors or Hoover tractors, whatever you want to call it. The story starts many years ago. One of our early supporters, Billy Thurman, that I also knew from dirt track racing, he was an official at the dirt tracks for a while, called me one day and wanted to know if I would be interested in a homemade tractor. And I said, I certainly would. I've always had a liking for him. He said, well, I've got one that I'll donate to y'all if y'all promise not to ever sell it. If you ever decide to do something with it, said find another show or museum to donate it to. And I said, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all because I really like it. And I was expecting when I got to his house to be dragging something out of the woods. It would take a lot of work to get back together. But when I pulled up in his house, it was sitting in his driveway, had a good hot battery in it running. He had gone through it and got everything back going good. So we brought it home, and we've had a lot of fun with it over the years. He's passed on since, but he was a really, really good guy. And the story I got from him, a man named White built this thing during the Depression, and he just built it out of stuff that was on his farm. It's got a 27 Chevrolet motor in it, and it's hooked up to a 26 International truck rear end. It actually has a 2-speed rear end in it. And the other pieces of this thing that he just had on the farm, the gas tank is an old metal bug sprayer tank. These are plow parts up here on the front end, like mule plow parts that he bent. And the story I was told is that he got all his plans together and he only took it to the welder one time. He didn't have his own welder. He took it to a welding shop one time and had the stuff welded, but he didn't have any way to get together. But it drives. It's got a tricycle front end, and I think those are Chevrolet hubs and all he built. That's all homemade stuff there, and it runs really good. And it's unique on this thing. This Chevrolet motor, I've never seen any other motor like it. It's got the carburetor and the spark plug on the same side, and spark plug wires run through the valve cover over to the distributor. And that's unique to that era of Chevrolet motors, but it drives good. We actually when he had it, it had a one person seat on it. Now we took it and took an old school bus seat mounted on there so you could have passengers ride with you more safely. But he actually plowed with it. Mr. White did back in the day, but since then it's just been sort of a parade ground rider. But we really like it. Need to put water in it for. We would crank it up and drive it for you today. But it's a great little doodle bug, and we're tickled to have it.